Howdy y'all. Namaste and welcome back to IDIS 1250, Introduction to Sustainability Studies. Again, I'm Dr. Brad Bannon. I'll be your professor guide through this course. And today, I'm not milking the cow for this video. Probably you're happy about that. In this video, basically I wanted to go over the syllabus and just kind of give you like a introduction to how to navigate through the course. Basically, I've tried to make everything as simple and straightforward as possible, but I'm also doing things a little bit out of the ordinary, even for myself. So I'll just go through that with you now. Now, when on the website, on the course website, Canvas, you'll have a link to the document that I'm going to access right now. And I went into an incognito window, so should be when you click on that link or copy and paste that link like I just did, you should see exactly this. Hopefully you see exactly this. And as it says over here, this document has content in multiple tabs. If you don't see this over here, you may have to click on it up here. So if it's not open, then you can just click there and open it. You can also do view and collapse or view and expand to see these tabs. So it's just cover page basically here, IDIS 1250, Intro to Sustainability Studies, A Quest for Harmony, my name. This is sort of a AI generated image that I generated. Supposed to kind of, be Fitchburg State campus with the smokestack in the middle. And I really wanted that to be kind of turning into a tree, but I'm not the best at prompting for these videos. And there's a falcon flying over campus. That's just me. So here's the central thesis of this course. The thesis that really guided me, wrote the thesis first and then wrote the textbook, kind of around it and trying as best as I can to really capture this thesis. So let me just read it to you. Sustainability is more than a goal. It's a worldview and a way of life that challenges the prevailing eco-logic of our economy by discovering the circular and cyclic interconnectedness of living systems, inspiring us to think differently about ourselves, to think differently about our place in this world, and to think differently about our responsibility to create a future that is more equitable, more harmonious, and more fruitful for the diverse inhabitants of planet Earth. So that's our thesis statement for the semester. And then, as I said here, you can just click on any of these tabs over here. As you can see, I've created a tab for each week of the semester, and also a tab for the syllabus. So let's click on that and go to that next. So sustainability studies, missing an I in there because AI is, still coming into its own. So, I have in here right at the cover, we've got so many different links to the same thing, to the same calendar. So in order to schedule an appointment with me at any point during the semester for any reason whatsoever, just feel free to click right here and click on this link and it should open up a link to my scheduling tool. As you can see, I don't have any availability this week, this first week of school, but beginning next Friday and every Friday for the rest of the semester, I'll have availability. These will fill up fast. I've got, I think, around 120 students this semester, and I meet with every one of them in the first few weeks. So the first few weeks, those slots are going to fill up very fast. So go ahead and schedule your meeting with me. Basically, just click on the link, type your first name, last name. Make sure that you type your email address correctly. Doesn't matter what email address you use, just as long as it's yours and you type it correctly. So you could use your own Gmail account or you can use your school. It doesn't matter. This is just a way for you to get the link to the meeting that you schedule. So make sure that you type your email correctly. That's enough about that. You can also email me. I very rarely, I'm trying to get better, but I'm not very good with email. My regular on-campus office hours, you never need an appointment for those, are between 2 and 3 p.m. on Mondays. And those take place in the adjunct office, which is CNFA. That's Conlon Fine Arts, 258. And then, you can schedule online meetings whenever you want. I also have a Discord. I can give you my Discord information. I'll put that on Blackboard. and it's basically going to be the same hours as the scheduled meetings. But if you don't get to schedule it in advance and you want to try your luck with dropping in, then the Discord will be there for that purpose. There's also a link to the YouTube playlist, which currently is pretty sparse. I'm still in the process of uploading and processing the video of me milking the cow, so that introductory video, and then I'll add this one to it next. And any other videos that I record for this course, I'll put into that playlist. So strongly encourage you to save this book list, save this playlist, bookmark that or something like that, so that you can always get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and go into full screen mode. So this is just the table of contents for the syllabus. So you can see course descriptions, objectives, assignments, and grading. I'll go over those in a second. Course policies, which you can read on your own time, and the weekly agenda, which I'll go over in a minute. So course description. So I didn't write this course description. This was written by the department, and I tried as best as I'm able to design the course in accordance with this course description. So the description came before the course. So this interdisciplinary course serves as an overview of the basic principles and issues of sustainability, laying out the intellectual frameworks, technological innovations, and socio-political developments that will bring us closer to a more sustainable and equitable global community. It provides a point of entry for students wishing to pursue various aspects of sustainability in more depth, and students will also learn about the rapidly expanding career opportunities within the field of sustainability. Or maybe we should even say the fields of sustainability. So the format, I kind of already mentioned this during the cow milking video, but people learn in lots of different ways. So I tried to design the course, I tried to design all my courses in a way that's going to use a lot of different modalities, and hopefully some of them really resonate with you. I don't expect all of them to resonate with anybody. So there is the textbook that I'm still in the process of writing. I'm up to around here, week 9, week 10 at the moment. So after spring break, and hopefully by the time we get to spring break, I'll be all done. That's the goal. So reading chapters, watching the video lectures like this one, listening to TED Talks, watching documentaries or other videos, reflecting, particularly in your nature journals, and writing those reflections down in your nature journals, discussing things with other members of your podcast. I'll say more about that in a moment. We'll put you into groups over the next couple of weeks. And then mentorship. So just as I've said, I make it as easy as I can for every student to be able to meet with me as often as you want, even, and especially important in an online class. So you can always come to my in-person office hours if you want to connect in that way, and if you're on campus, or you can schedule meetings with me as often as you want using the online scheduler tool that I already showed you. So let's go over these learning goals and skills, because it's important in every course. So these are 4 primary learning goals in this course. By the end of the course, you should be able to demonstrate a firm understanding of the basic principles of sustainability studies, including the 3 pillars of sustainability, sometimes called the triple bottom line, right? Ecology, economy, and equity, and how those 3 relate and interrelate, and etc. Second, you should be able to articulate what a complex adaptive system is, and you should be able to demonstrate systems thinking skills and a firm grasp of basic concepts like feedback loops, emergence, resilience, the role and importance of diversity within complex adaptive systems, all those sorts of things. So all the things that we're going to cover mostly in week 3. Yeah, most of that goal is going to come in week 3, but then we'll keep, practicing it and putting it into practice throughout the semester. Third, you should have a firm understanding of interdisciplinary thinking and interdisciplinary research principles, maybe not so much skills, that's more in the interdisciplinary track, 3004 and 4004, which I also teach. But in this case, at least understanding what interdisciplinary studies is and what does that mean, that sort of thing. We'll go over that as the course unfolds. And then last but not least, you should be able to demonstrate and articulate, right, through words and writing, an ability to relate the course content to both your personal ethical practices and also to your future career. Pretty straightforward. Now, generally speaking, I don't give students a lot of grade feedback throughout this semester. I've been teaching for 10 years, and I used to give tons and tons of feedback, and as time goes on, maybe I'm the only professor who gives less and less as things go on. That said, I am always reading everything that you submit and listening to all of your podcasts and those sort of things, and if anything's kind of going off track, I will absolutely intervene. I will absolutely let you know and tell you exactly what you need to do to get back on track. If you're not hearing from me, keep doing what you're doing, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing everything perfectly, but I've found over the time that, especially with the podcast discussions, a lot of the things that I would intervene and say and give feedback on, they do tend to correct themselves and correct themselves better if I stay a little bit hands off. So I don't give a lot of feedback. I certainly don't grade on a curve. Every student is unique. You're not competing against your classmates for grades. I don't even understand that way of thinking. This is, you're trying to challenge yourself to do the best you can. You're not competing against other students. In fact, I strongly encourage and support team-based learning. So I want you to be helping one another, not competing against each other for grades. Your grade is partially based on whether or not you did the work, obviously, but mostly based on how well you're learning the material. So that will come through in your podcast discussions and in your writings and in your journals and in the final reflection paper, et cetera, et cetera. So as long as you're making a strong effort in the course by, well, not attending class because it's an online class, but watching the videos, doing the work, taking good notes, following instructions, then you're going to do just fine. If you're anxious about your grade, please do not hesitate to visit office hours. Maybe not so much during an email. There's not really much I can say during an email, but if you're having anxiety about your grades, then just meet with me. Just schedule a meeting with me. And by the way, by scheduling a meeting with me, you get a little bit of extra credit. So if you're having any grade anxiety, then just meet with me. As far as your grade components, your grade consists of these 4 things. So the initial meeting with me is worth 10%. Basically, just all of this is saying that it's important to meet with me, and you have until March 2nd. You actually have the whole semester to do that initial meeting with me, but in order to get the full 10%, you need to do it by March 2nd and make sure that you show up on time and all that kind of stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So please give this a read. Podcast assignment, I certainly give that a read, but we've got a couple of weeks before we need to worry about that. So I'll say more about the podcast assignment when we get closer to then, and I will organize you into teams very soon. I'm going to give you like a Google form with a questionnaire, and I'm going to form teams based on when your availability is. So whatever time you're best suited for meeting. And if there's somebody in the class that you want to be paired with, then there'll be a space for you to let me know that in that form. But nothing for you to do right now on the podcast except to maybe read over the instructions and kind of be aware of what that is. If you've taken a class with me before, chances are very good that you've done this, because I use the podcast assignment in pretty much all of my classes that it's at all appropriate for. Then there's the nature journal. So again, if you click here, it should take you right to there. So beginning in week 2, so next week, you should keep a nature journal throughout the semester. I want you to keep it all in one document, right? Just start a Google document, call it nature journal, put your name in there, name the file, like Brad_Bannon_nature journal. But use your name, not mine. That would be confusing. And so by the end of the semester, you should have, you should have one journal with, at least 7 journal entries, really 7. There are links in here, so if you click on week 2 and click the link, then it will take you right to week 2, and you can see, maybe this is a fine time for me to go over this. On each one of these weekly pages, when you click on it, you come to this landing page that has basically everything, the whole week laid out for you, right? So week 5, read chapter 6, and chapter 6 is right there for you. If you click on it, it'll take you either to the beginning of the chapter or any subsection of the chapter. Kind of also gives you a nice little outline of the chapter, etc. Then the TED Talk, pretty much all of them will have a chapter and then a TED Talk, and then video, a documentary. And also in here, notice I included a couple of things. One is I included the transcript for all the TED Talks. I included the transcripts for most all of the documentaries. There were a couple of them that I was not able to find copies of. Excuse me. But most of them have transcript. And I think probably most valuable to you is the length. So you have an idea of like what your time commitment is going to be for each one of these weeks. And yeah, and then your whatever assignment is due is usually going to be due at the end of that week. So Nature Journal 3, and if you click on that, it takes you exactly to the prompt. So just give this a read over, and like it says there, these instructions are mostly suggestions of how to get started. Some of them are do this, but most of them are like, here's something you could do. But if you have something else in mind that you want to do, then you can kind of, variations on a theme kind of thing. So let's see, where are we? Then the last thing, 15% of your grade will come from a final reflection paper. The prompt is in there for that, but this is, relatively informal. It's not so much a writing assignment as it is really a reflection assignment. So again, I'll say more about that as we get closer to it. And the prompt is already in there if you want to have a look at what it is. Course policies, certainly not going to read these to you, but you should read them for yourself. Some of it's boilerplate, some of it's not. Then I have the weekly agenda here at the end of the syllabus, but I also made it a separate tab here. Now this separate tab, I think most of the time when you're starting a new week of work, week 4 or 5 or 1 or whatever, then you'll come to the weekly agenda and say, all right, so here we are, January 15th through 19th, week 1. Here's the name of the unit. So every unit has a title. So introduction, defining sustainability, systems thinking. Then we'll talk about economics. Then we'll talk about ecosystems, then economics, then equity. Then we move into the practical applications. So you can see all the titles of each unit in there. Notice that for each week, I also gave you what I think is the estimated time required for you to complete the work for that particular week. So 2.5 hours this week. I think that's probably, I think most of the estimates are probably about right. So this way you can look through the semester, you can map out, plan out, in a typical college semester, typical college course, you should be spending, 6-7 hours per class in terms of like in class time and out of class time. And you will rarely be expected to spend that much in this course. But here, I've got all the times there laid out so you know how to budget your time accordingly. I also included the assignments that are due in a way that you can very easily link to, right? So week 2, then at the end of week 2, you'll have the Nature Journal. Week 3, end of week 3, you'll have the Nature Journal. End of week 4, you have podcast 1, etc. Right? So you can see how to navigate everything in there. You can also, and you could either, if you wanted to go to week 1, you could click there, or you could click over here, your choice. And then when you go to those weeks, I think I already said, take you to this landing page, which is basically a table of contents. And then you can scroll down or you can click any of those. So in the next video that I'm going to record in a moment, I'll go through and read the preface to you. Again, that's, optional. Reading it is not optional, but watching the video of me reading it is, more optional. I think that is it. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. So you'll have this document available to you. You can download it, you can save it, you can share the link with others, whatever. So it's yours to do as you wish. If you wanted to save and make a copy, you notice here it says request edit access. Absolutely do not do that. I will just ignore it, but also I'll be a little bit, don't do that. If you want to have your own copy that you can edit, then just file, make a copy. I think it's not showing me that option because I'm not signed in, because this is incognito mode. But you should be able to save a copy or certainly download a copy. And then you can edit that as much as you want. You don't need my permission to do that. So that is it for the syllabus. I hope that you, oh, I don't know if I showed this. So in here, on any of these, if you click once, right, it takes you to that week. If you click again, so not quite a double click, but a click and then another click, then it will unfold a menu. So then you can see it's basically a detailed outline of everything in that week. And it takes you it gives you just even more detail, so you can see the subsections and that kind of stuff. And you can, click and go to any of those sections. Yeah, word. That's it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you like it. Peace out.